Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Brad Smith. He's the founder of Stellar Insight, a business growth coaching company. Welcome to the show, Brad.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Brad. And I'm sure a lot of people, not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to discuss about. We'll talk about business growth and leadership. And that's what your company also does, a business growth coaching company. So my first question is, Brad, in terms of your clients, whenever they come to you nowadays, what are they talking about growth? Are they facing growth challenges, or they are having a lot of business growth in their companies? What I understand is it's a difficult market nowadays, but I want to understand from you. Maybe you have clients who are facing the problem of plenty, lot of abundance, or is it that they are facing growth challenges?
Well, what I actually offer is, the reason I named my company Stellar Insight is so that I can sit and listen and ask questions and draw out of them the answers that they need. So right now I would describe it as there's always, I've been doing this for almost 30 years now. And there's periods where there's easy growth and there's not easy growth. The ones that are the not easy growth, which is what we have right now, kind of turbulent times, those are just like increased gravity. They just build character and develop businesses that way. So there's not much difference between an individual's character and the culture of a company. Those are the things that are immediate for response, but they're built up over a long period of time. And so I match the person's both challenges, right? Both challenges and ambition. If you have someone that come to me that has no ambition, there's no point in working with them.
Right. That's very interesting. You talk about, individual character, culture of the company, and if I understand, it's related to growth. Help us understand this part. How is it? How is the character of an individual, the company culture, is related to growth? If I've heard that correctly, Brad.
All right, so I'm going to tell you a short story here, and this has started my life essentially. At age 18, fall term at Oregon State University, I developed an ulcerated colon. My first time away from home and not living on my own. I was living in a group on campus, but away from home. And I developed an ulcerated colon. When I got to the doctor, about 2.5 months later, almost December, the end of the year, that quarter at least, the doctor said to me 3 sentences that changed my life and pretty much set my path, which was, the first one was, "Gee, Brad, if you'd have waited 6 weeks to come see me, you'd have bled to death." So it was pretty bad. I had no idea it was that bad, but it was painful all the time. Then he said, "You'll never eat strawberries, corn, or lettuce, or anything with roughage ever again in your life." And my 18-year-old brain said, "Fat chance, buddy, that's not happening." And then he said to me, "You have a psychosomatic disease. Your emotions affect the severity of your symptoms." And in that moment, I made a full-on commitment to conquer it, because if I could create it, I could uncreate it. And so I studied me, the beaker, if you would, because I was in chemical engineering at the time and taking chemistry. I was the beaker. I studied my emotions. I increased my self-awareness of my physical body and my emotional self and my thoughts. And I went through, and it took me about a year to stop the bleeding, not completely, but it was episodic. And then about 3 more years, so 4 years, to get the pain to where it was just intermittent. And then 30 years later, still having this problem, I went in with hypnosis and reworked reworked a memory from about 11 or 12 months old when I got a spanking. And it was a natural circumstance. I was playing in the diaper pail and I freaked my mom out, right? So she spanked me. But what this whole thing taught me was I watched the patterns in my life. What is I want? What is it I want? What is it I don't want? And I would have everybody do an exercise of literally write down all the things you want to achieve and also write down a list of all the things that just frustrate you or really irritate you. Write them down and then ask each one of the negative things, what's the purpose of it? And if you study it deeply enough, what I was trying to do at age 11 months was protect myself. And what I did was I made myself really sensitive to certain situations. And I grew myself out of that. So I watch patterns and I look at end results. But what that taught me was, in the end, I wind up with, I'm the cause of everything in my life. So if I'm the cause of everything in my life, and I'm the creator of everything in my life, maybe not consciously in the moment, but if you're having struggles with achieving a goal, stop and look at all the places that you're stopped and recognize that you're part of it, not all of it, but part of it. I watched an employer, a boss of mine. I worked in retail when early in my career, and I watched all the people that would show up just to interview and say yes to his offer of a job, and they matched his personality. So people that were going to be different than him wouldn't show up, literally wouldn't show up. So I want people to understand in your audience that if they're the cause of their success, which we hope, right? But they are also the cause of their failure, what they need to do is listen to themselves, listen to their situation, and recognize that they can conquer it.
Right, right. Thank you for that, Brad. Thank you very much indeed. Now, in terms of, you said that people like to hire people like them. If I understand again that
Well,
part correctly.
that's only a part of it. What I'm asking people to understand is synchronicity. Carl Jung described synchronicity, right, as a process that goes on through the subconscious mind. And I would describe it as we have our conscious mind, we have our emotional self, we have our individual subconscious, and then we have the collective subconscious. And those people that are going to actually show up to interview was part of what was going on. And I was amazed at that. Not just
Okay,
hire people like them, myself, right? Or like himself, but it's like just the pool of people to say yes were influenced by him.
right, right. One more thing I wanted to understand by with this sort of understanding is that a lot of people say that when you are hiring people, so you hire people who are a bit different than you, so that they can complement you. So
Yeah,
how does that work in these sort of situations? Many people say we hire people who are smarter than you, so
we
that they can do work for you, and that's why so different views are there. I want to understand, how do you calibrate with the view that you just mentioned, so in a positive way people can take
sure,
this forward.
sure. The most important thing when you're talking with someone is rapport. Okay, if there's enough understanding between the two of you that you can understand the words you're saying and then the emotions that are going on, then you have rapport. Rapport is critical. That means doesn't mean they have to be like you, right? You don't actually want people like you. What I would have you do is map out all the things you're really good at and all the things you have no business doing, you're not good at, right? And hire people that can fill in. You know, I'm not good. Well, let's put it this way. I don't like doing bookkeeping, so I hire someone to do that for me. All right. I'm not good at hunter sales, good at farmer sales, right? The relationship building. but not good at outreach. So I hire people to do the outreach for me. So in situations where you need to build a whole organization, look at what actually needs to be accomplished and find people that are good at the core process. Early in my career, my second wife was an office manager and she had to hire a bookkeeper. Was she good at bookkeeping? Yeah, she was good at it, but she needed to hire people that were, good at it automatically. And what you do is, in that situation, the key characteristic she was looking for was someone that was good at detail automatically. So I found a question. I want everybody to catch this and use it if they want. Do you lose socks in the laundry? If you lose socks in the laundry, you're not good at detail, period. Right? But, over a 30-year period, I think I've lost 3 pair of socks.
Okay, and what does that mean? I want to understand.
Okay, so
I consider myself as
what
not
that,
very
what
smart.
that means is I pay attention to the detail. Do I like doing the detail? Not necessarily, right? So you have to have someone who is automatically good. Think about whatever position you have and the culture of the company, right? How do you interview someone for honesty? Because training someone into honesty is a long job. It can be done, but you've got to work at it. So train the people into the culture. They have to fit almost completely. How do you interview for integrity? How do you interview for work ethic? I don't know if work ethic is an issue beyond the United States, but right now work ethic is a tough thing here in the United States. And so one of the questions that I got to was, how old were you when you got your first job? And beyond that, who taught you how to work? And how old were you then? Because that means that if you were, like my dad, my first job was clearing out a 1/4 acre of brush on the property that he had. He said, go clear this. I was 9. Was I ambitious? Yes. I wanted the money that I was going to get, which wasn't a lot of money, to go buy, a toy that I wanted. All right. So I worked really hard. It was hot. It was sunny. It was, I sweat a lot. It's like, but that was the training that I had to work hard. So there we
Right,
go.
right, Brad. You talk about, awareness matters to business.
Yep.
Help us understand about this part. What awareness are you talking about?
You have to be aware. If you pay attention, and I think that's the whole purpose of life, is to pay attention. Be present, because those parts you're not present for are the parts that slip by. What's the whole point here?
No problem. Even I forget so many things.
Yeah,
In the
no.
saying of,
So ask your question again. I'll reform it.
yeah. You talk about awareness matters to
Okay.
business. How
Yeah.
should business understand this?
Okay. If I'm not aware in an interview, let's say, I miss the things that are important, or I step over them. So the human brain has only got so much energy and we've only got so much capacity, right? And so you have to consciously practice being aware. The whole point of meditation, and I'm a 29-year meditator, right? So I meditate, and the whole point of it is to learn to be present. Be present to your physical self, be present to your surroundings, be present and aware of your emotions, and then the mental process behind it. That was my first training. Then beyond that, I can learn how are you aware of situations? You're aware of situations through your interaction with them. And if you shut down your awareness of it, you lose capability of action.
Right, Brad. Now let me understand a bit about how does one get started uh, with this business growth? You talked about a few things. So is it about the growing business that is easily to grow, or is it about leadership? I want, in a nutshell, I want pointers so that one can remember this and work it out. And also, leaders who come to you for advice about their business growth,
Sure.
how do you tell them? Because you listen to them, you advise them. Why do they miss those points themselves, and they are leaders of their company? Many a times it's too late for them. I want to understand, how it works.
Okay, so let's take a horrible case, right? Take a large corporate bankruptcy. Then it's too late, right? But if you back up 2 years, somewhere in that 2 year grouping process, you wind up with a set of decisions that were made that were not appropriate for the situation they were actually in. So that's where the awareness comes in. So leadership, let me put it this way. I want people to lock this into their brain. You can't grow a company beyond the limitations of the leadership. So when I sit down with someone and I'm talking to them, doesn't matter whether it's on video like this or in person or literally on the phone, I listen for three different things. I listen for the business model. Does the business model actually work with their market? Okay. And if it works, that's fine. That's the first level I have to go through, right? Then the second level is, who are they? What's important to them? Are they ambitious? Are they curious? Right? And are they kind? Those are and smart too. So four things, right? Curious, ambitious, kind, and smart, because you got to be able to put the details together. So if they're willing to listen to themselves and the world and take action on those inputs, you've got a large company, you've got a small company, it doesn't matter. The information is always there for you to act from. Sometimes it just takes patience, but those are the things I listen for when I watch their character too. Literally sit down, read them, know what parts of their character are functioning at the time. I have, because of the meditation and some of the other exercises I've done, I have the ability to watch someone, read their character, and I'm starting to develop the ability to watch what parts of their brain they're actually using. So they can become aware of that. And my job is to teach them how to be better leaders so that they can get people to do what needs to happen. Leadership is about inspiring others. What's important to you is not necessarily important to me, but if I understand what's important to you, then I can lay out the things, ask questions to lead you toward the things that are important and how to accomplish them. So self-inspiration is the other piece of that. Inspire yourself first, and then inspire others also. That's leadership, and that's growth.
Absolutely, absolutely. You also lay quite a bit of importance about on deep intuition, and that for that we have a master class for deep intuition development for CEOs and R&D teams. What is this deep intuition, and how is it learned? I thought intuition is a part of individual ability. It comes with you when you are born. How
No,
does that work? No, okay, that is what I want to understand about. What is it, and how do they learn? How do you teach them in your master class? And at the same time, then also tell about your company's stellar insight so that people know more about it and engage with you going forward.
okay. Well, when I was 18, I decided that I was going to I was putting together my philosophy of the world, if you would, in addition to trying to fix my body. So I stumbled into the idea that, all right, how do I connect all of this? I started studying certain books and mystical traditions. And when an idea popped into my head, right? I said, okay, I think the result of that would be this. So over the last 50 years, yes, 50 years, right? I've studied the processes and the end results. That would be the chemistry in me, right? And the end result is I have a series of exercises I take people through that put them through energetic evolutions in order to become more deeply intuitive. Some of that is early available, automatically, and some of it is not, depending on your perspective on life. I'm going to take people off the deep end here. If you meditate, your brain restructures itself over time so that it builds pathways across the brain, and that gives you bigger ability to listen internally. But it takes time. It takes about a year to a year and a half, depending on the individual and the energies they have in them, right, to be able to be more intuitive. What we're doing with intuition is we're using the physical brain and the physical personality consciousness to listen to the higher levels of who we are. And when you listen to those levels, there's a range from my finite physical brain personality narrowness and smallness to absolute, the word's gone right now, the ability to know everything, omniscience, right? And so in the range from omniscience to me right now, toward the upper part of that is higher levels of intuition, where the information that's available, where do ideas come from? They come from your subconscious. And so the training of the brain takes time and exercises. But if nothing else, if someone wants to grow their ability, pick a form of meditation. I don't care whether it's transcendental meditation or energy movement, Kriya Yoga, or just counting breaths, or binaural beat, with two different sounds in the different ear to train the brain into brain waves, right? When you get to the place where you've done enough of it, the 5 brain waves are, beta is where we do our analytical thinking and spend most of our time after the age of 6. Alpha is where we do our daydreaming, and some of the ideas pop into our head, like when you're taking a shower or driving or washing dishes. Yes, guys, you can wash dishes. Or 3, the top part of a sleep cycle is theta brainwave level, and then we're deeper into the subconscious. And delta is the bottom 30 minutes of a 90-minute sleep cycle. And I don't yet understand gamma very well. So if you do this long enough, you get to a place where you can hold open those brain waves. Walking down the street, I'm always in a combination of beta and alpha, always. It's always available to me now. And when I consciously choose, I can shift my consciousness into theta. When you look at it deeply enough and listen to it, I also can open up, if I relax enough, into delta. And when it describes delta online, it says you're asleep. I'm not. I'm fully physically conscious, and I'm active in those levels. That gives me access to the subconscious that many people don't have. So intuition, and the deep intuition, is the ability to hold the brain, train the brain into those brainwave levels deeper than we normally hold open. And then we have access to the individual subconscious, and through that, the collective unconscious, which is omniscience eventually. All the mystics got there, all of them.
Wonderful, wonderful. And now you get CEOs and R&D teams to that level. So how do people be a part of this masterclass? And also, there is much to learn about business growth, about leadership. So what is the best way for people to connect with you and know more about you, be a part of what you do?
So you can see my company name there, Stellar Insight Inc. My website is stellarinsightinc.com. I had to work at it a little bit. So that's how they can reach me. I have a form that they can fill out, that they can pick a time on my calendar, and we can talk for half an hour. And that's how you get to know me. You can also, I think there's a form there that you can sign up for the class also. And so they start on a regular basis, according to how things are moving in the world, if you would. And that's the ways they can get a hold of me.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.